Imagine living in a world where the most fundamental force driving you isn't survival or happiness, but an unrelenting urge to assert yourself, to overcome, and to create. A force that not only drives individuals to reach their highest potential, but challenges them to redefine what it means to be human. This is the will to power, one of Friedrich Nietzsche's most profound and controversial ideas. But what exactly does it mean, and how does it shape our understanding of motivation, morality, and even the very essence of life itself? Welcome to the unfolding journey. In today's video, we're diving deep into Nietzsche's will to power, exploring how this idea shapes our sense of purpose and why it remains a vital concept for understanding human behavior and ambition. So, stay with us as we uncover Nietzsche's vision of what truly motivates us, and why this concept continues to resonate today. To understand Nietzsche's will to power, we first need to look at the man behind the idea. Friedrich Nietzsche, a 19th-century German philosopher, challenged nearly every aspect of traditional Western thought. He famously declared that God is dead, critiqued Christianity, and explored how societal values limit human potential. But amid these radical critiques, one idea stands out as central to Nietzsche's worldview: the will to power. The will to power isn't just about raw ambition or a drive for dominance. It's a deeper, more fundamental force that Nietzsche saw as at the core of all life: human, animal, and even inanimate nature. It's the instinct to grow, to overcome obstacles, and to assert one's own existence. Nietzsche argued that the will to power is the driving force behind all human actions. Whether it's in a person's pursuit of success, their creative endeavors, or even their personal struggle with inner conflict. It's the force that propels us forward, shaping not only what we do but also who we become. So, what does the will to power tell us about human motivation? According to Nietzsche, traditional ideas of morality, especially those rooted in religious or societal systems, have suppressed our natural instincts. These systems often prioritize values like humility, meekness, and self-sacrifice. Nietzsche saw these values as slave morality, and he argued that they were stifling the true human potential to assert oneself and to grow. The will to power, however, is not constrained by these external moral frameworks. It's about the individual taking control of their own life and destiny. It's the desire to assert dominance over one's circumstances, to shape the world in one's image, and to become the best version of oneself, not in the eyes of society, but in the eyes of the self. This doesn't mean that Nietzsche glorifies tyranny or oppression. Instead, it's about self-mastery and self-overcoming. The will to power is the force that drives us to transcend our limitations, to evolve and to continually push beyond what we think is possible. Another crucial dimension of the will to power is its role in the creation of values. Nietzsche famously criticized traditional religious and moral systems for imposing predefined values onto individuals. According to Nietzsche, these systems stifled creativity and suppressed personal growth. They discouraged the creation of new values, the very thing that can lead to human flourishing. For Nietzsche, the will to power was the force behind the creation of values. It's not enough to simply accept the values handed down by society. One must actively create their own values through the expression of will and power. This is part of the self-overcoming process, to not just adapt to life, but to shape it according to your own vision. The Übermensch is the prime example of this creative power. By rejecting the values imposed by society and creating their own, the Übermensch exemplifies the true potential of human life. They are not bound by the past but actively shape the future. One of the most important aspects of Nietzsche's will to power is the idea of self-overcoming. Nietzsche didn't just want individuals to assert power over others. He wanted them to assert power over themselves. This concept is illustrated in his famous idea of the Übermensch or Overman, a figure who lives beyond traditional moral constraints and creates new values. The Übermensch embodies the will to power in its purest form: self-overcoming, self-determination, and the creative force that leads to personal transformation. Nietzsche's notion of self-overcoming is rooted in his belief that humans are constantly evolving, both physically and mentally. It's an ongoing process of shedding the old self to become something greater. Think of it like an artist chiseling away at a block of marble to reveal the sculpture hidden within. The will to power is the hammer, and self-overcoming is the process. Nietzsche also saw art as an essential expression of the will to power. In his earlier work, The Birth of Tragedy, Nietzsche argued that art, particularly Greek tragedy, embodies the tension between the Apollonian and the Dionysian, the rational, orderly aspect of life, Apollo, and the chaotic, instinctive force, Dionysus. The creative force that drives art, for Nietzsche, is fundamentally tied to the will to power. Artists, in particular, channel their inner chaos into something beautiful, transcending the limitations of the human condition. Art becomes a means of asserting one's will and creating something that reflects the artist's unique perspective on the world. So, what does the will to power mean for us today? In an era where many people feel lost or disconnected from traditional sources of meaning, whether it's religion, nationalism, or social structures, the will to power offers a compelling alternative. It encourages us to take responsibility for our lives and create meaning on our own terms. The will to power is not about conquering others or seeking dominance over them. It's about transcending one's own limitations, creating new possibilities, and living authentically. This idea challenges us to think critically about the values we hold and whether they truly reflect our own deepest desires and potential. Of course, Nietzsche's will to power is not without its critics. Some have argued that it can lead to dangerous forms of individualism or even nihilism. If everyone is left to create their own values, some might argue, society could descend into moral chaos. Others have pointed out that Nietzsche's ideas have been misused to justify authoritarianism and cruelty. However, Nietzsche was not advocating for blind egoism or oppression of others. His vision of the will to power was always tied to the idea of self-overcoming, a process that requires responsibility, discipline, and self-awareness. For Nietzsche, true power was not about exploiting others, but about mastering oneself and transforming society through creative, life-affirming values. In conclusion, the will to power remains one of Nietzsche's most profound contributions to philosophy and human psychology. It challenges us to confront the limitations of traditional morality and invites us to reimagine what it means to live a fulfilling and authentic life. The will to power encourages us to overcome, to assert ourselves, and to create new values that reflect our own unique potential. In a world that constantly seeks to define us by external standards, Nietzsche's call to assert our own will is more relevant than ever. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Nietzsche's will to power. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring the world of philosophy and self-discovery, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video from the unfolding journey. Remember, the journey of self-overcoming never ends, and I'm excited to be a part of yours. See you next time.